Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/OhNoConsequences. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Wait. Before we start, does this interest you? This distinguished gentleman is now live on Makeshift.com for a grand total of $30. Link in the description below. Make sure you snag one before the time expires because it's not coming back. Buy the possums, 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 buy the possums. Now to your regularly scheduled program. Cross posted from r/Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for calling my dad a hypocrite and telling him family therapy won't fix us? After my dad married Jane 7 years ago, he started to get really involved in her daughter Amy's life, 16 female. I, 15 female, felt left out. My life had been really difficult up to then, and I was struggling with everything. I had lost my mom 2 years before, and I also suffered a brain injury and was grieving the loss of a lot of memories of my mom. I was recovering, and Dad was distracted with Jane. It was tough, but then my dad got along with Amy so much better, and he always seemed more into the time he spent with her than the time he spent with me. He also shared more of his own interests with her. He took her special places he adored that he didn't ever take me to, and I wanted to go. He shared with her stuff he didn't share with me. I was so jealous and I was hurt. I tried to explain to my dad, but he told me it was selfish to want to keep him to myself and to leave Amy without a dad, and how her dad didn't want to know her, so he needed to fill that role for her. Amy would tell me to just accept that my dad liked her better, and he was her dad more than mine now. My dad knew about it and didn't care. He did spend time with me, but it was stuff I liked and he'd act like it was the biggest burden to spend time with me. He fell asleep a few times and he would zone out a lot and leave me to do the stuff alone, even though he was physically there. My grandpa, my dad's dad, noticed, and he started spending more time with me and creating a bond with me that we didn't have before. My dad isn't that close to his dad, but grandpa has been the best. He even loved my mom, and he told me how sad it made him when my parents divorced. He's told me stories about her and me that I don't remember any longer. It has been amazing, and apparently, it has healed a lot of the pain of my dad's lack of interest because my dad noticed, and he got so jealous. He confronted me a few days ago saying I was ignoring him and spending way too much time with Grandpa. He asked me why I stopped asking about our time together. I told him he made it clear he prefers spending time with Amy and can't stand time with me. So I'm spending time with someone who enjoys me. He told me I don't have the right to rub my favoritism of Grandpa in his face. I called him a hypocrite and told him he treated Amy better than me for years. He showed favoritism to her, opened up to her and shared with her in a way he never did with me, and it wasn't okay. I told him. He then called me selfish for telling him how it made me feel. I told him she knows him better than I do and it's not my fault. He said he allowed that to happen and allowed her to feel so smug about it. He walked away from the conversation. Dad decided the two of us need family therapy yesterday. He came out with it from nowhere. He said it's the only way to fix it. I told him family therapy won't fix us when he can't even stay and have a conversation with me. He told me I used to be willing to try, and now I'm not, and it's not okay. Am I the asshole? See, we're just seeing the pattern again, where a lot of kind of older generations seem to think therapy is a tool for conformity instead of a tool for actual development and growth. The dad doesn't want family therapy to find the root of the problems between the three of them. He wants family therapy to make OP conform, to make them realize that they're wrong. It's unfortunate, but it's slowly becoming more and more a reality that people, rather than treating therapy as a healing tool, are using it as a weapon. It's actually kind of crazy that the dad is getting jealous over the fact that his daughter has a relationship with the grandpa when he's not even putting an effort in to have that relationship. You know, it's fine when he neglects her because he's the only source of actual connection that she has access to, and he has total control over that, and has made it clear that he doesn't care if Amy feels as though she's the better daughter in his life. But the moment OP actually goes and seeks out another father figure or someone who actually gives a shit about her, suddenly it's, whoa! That's not fair to me. It's okay when I do it to you, but when you do it to me, that's unacceptable. And how dare you tell me how I've made you feel over the years? That's not fair to me either. But Buddy exists in a realm of double standards with his daughters and thinks it's an acceptable way to actually parent your children. It's like a jealous boyfriend who's obviously cheating on his girlfriend, but the moment that someone flirts with her at a bar, even if she's not receptive, he blames her for that and gets extremely aggressive with her for being a whore or some shit like that. But also, like, dude, you neglected your daughter, you knew what Amy was saying to her, you knew how she felt, your daughter's mother died recently, she has a traumatic brain injury, she's just looking for a connection with her parent, you're neglecting that, and her grandfather filled the role and now you're jealous and you can't comprehend the consequences for that. I don't really know what to tell you, bud. This one's another cross post from Best Of, posted by Coco Bomag. The original OP is Jivvy Biscuits and r/Am I the Asshole, April 22nd, 2024. Am I the asshole for deleting my girlfriend's Sims save files? Let's just start by saying that I, 24 male, love my girlfriend, Aaliyah, 20 female, very much. She's a super hard-working girl. She spends a lot of her time on classes trying to get the highest grades possible for applying to nursing school in the near future. When she's not doing that, she's doing chores or cutting down on her ever-growing to-do list. And when she's not doing that, she's spending 2 hours a day playing The Sims. This is where the problem comes in. After all the stuff she does, Aaliyah doesn't have as much time to spend with me as she could. She's a perfectionist too. So when she's doing more serious stuff like school, she puts in more effort than necessary, which is time-consuming. It really got to me that even knowing this, she'll spend so much time on The Sims. It's something frivolous she's doing when we already get so little time together. She's an adult, so essentially playing digital dolls almost every day is kind of something she ought to grow out of by now. I decided to step in and have her cut back on this. I obviously didn't delete the whole game, but I figured deleting the little save files she was working on would deter her from spending so much time on it. That decision backfired tremendously. When she logged onto her game, she thought there was some glitch going on and kept restarting it until I explained to her that I removed the saves. She absolutely flipped out on me, saying she'd been playing in that save file since like 2017, and I had ruined years of game progress. Sims isn't even a gold game, ? I told her she was overreacting because she still has the game and she could just remake her same little characters if it mattered so much. But it doesn't need to, and maybe now she can focus on more adult interests, like loved ones. Basically, she left immediately, saying she was so stupid to leave her gaming laptop at my place, and now she won't answer my calls. I know that this is a total overreaction, but I started to feel a little bad once I realized it may not be so easy to redo her characters as I initially thought. So, am I the asshole for deleting my girlfriend's Sim saves? Too long didn't read, my girlfriend is obsessed with The Sims, so to deter her from playing it so much, I deleted her save files and she blew up at me. Am I the asshole? The next day, the girlfriend finds the post and answers OP's "Am I the asshole?" question decisively with multiple examples. Did you really think I wouldn't find this post? Did you really think I wouldn't see how you've been talking about me? I shudder to think what you've said and what you deleted. Why don't you tell them the real story about how you not only deleted the save files, but also hammered the backup thumb drive so hard there's a dent on your countertop now, while I cried for you to stop? Why don't you tell them about how you tag along to my SI group after bio because you don't want me to be out of your sight? Why don't you tell them about how my best friend, who's so-called in love with me, literally lives in another state and only visits once or twice a year? Why don't you tell them about how when my mother was sick a few months ago, you were blowing up my line all day, every day for attention, knowing I was her primary caregiver 24/7? Why are you telling them that you work full-time or that you manage a grocery store when you part-time manage the fast food place inside it? I want you to fucking take this to heart when I say this, but I have genuinely been so much worse off for knowing you. You've destroyed my self-esteem with your constant criticisms of what I enjoy. You've controlled me in every way for as long as I've known you. You don't understand boundaries, or when no means no. Your racist fucking family treats me like dog shit, and your friends are equally racist punk bitch assholes. You ruined something I've spent years of my life growing up with, and I could never bring myself to forgive you and forget that. No matter how much love I've poured into you, I hate you for what you did to me and for what you've been doing. I mean that. I'm going to make this so crystal clear since you didn't understand it the first time. We are through. Go fuck yourself. Update 9 days later, May 2nd, 2024. An update from the ex-girlfriend. My saves are restored. That's it. Sorry for taking a while to tell everyone. I went to a local tech shop a few days ago and they helped me to recover everything. I hadn't had the chance to update due to final season. I'm typing this on my way to class, but yes! For anyone still wondering, I got everything back. I don't play The Sims. I've never really touched it that much. The thing is that even though it may not be a gold game, the goals are what you make of it. It's the experience that you choose to have. Minecraft, while it does have some goals to it, isn't necessarily a gold game either. You don't have to make it to the end, you don't have to do any of this shit attached to it. But the loss of a Minecraft world that you've had since 2017 that you've put 2 hours a day into, that is something to actually mourn. And that would be the same thing for a sim save that you've had since 2017. Doesn't matter if it's just dolls or if it's girl-coded and doesn't have any goals. Still something they care about and put a lot of time into. But the cherry on top isn't even just the fucking bullshit of like, well, I deleted them because she can just remake the characters or whatever. The cherry on top is the fact that he took the thumb drive that had the saves on it and smashed it with a fucking hammer. You just went from ignorant buffoon who's going to be broken up with for being a stupid idiot to an actual fucking monster. How could you actively smash something your girlfriend cares about while she's breaking down crying and be like, yeah, she's just overreacting. Anyways, Reddit, help me prove to her that she's in the wrong here. What a fucking convenient thing to leave out there, dude. Go to hell. Stella CTQM. Accuse me of plagiarism? We'll see about that. I'm 21 female in university studying journalism. This semester, we have a creative writing class. One assignment is a free piece. We can write about whatever we want as long as it's 1,500 words long and fictional. We have a forum to post drafts of our stories and receive feedback from classmates. I posted a rough first draft of my story on a Wednesday. It's about a distant future where a small group of humans live on Mars in a compound and believe they are alone in the universe, when in reality, they are subjects of an experiment. I know, very original, but I was lacking inspiration, and it was the first thing that popped into my mind. On Friday, I received an email from one of my classmates. I do not know this girl. I've seen her in class, but have never interacted with her. She called me out for plagiarizing her work and CC'd the lecturer. I checked out her work in the forum, and the only resemblance was that it took place in the future and in space. I answered her email saying that she doesn't own the sci-fi genre and linked both of our stories in the response. She messaged me privately saying that I humiliated her in front of our lecturer and could get her penalized. The punishment for plagiarism is expulsion with academic penalty. Our university also uses an anti-plagiarism software to compare our papers with existing material. I didn't hear back from the lecturer over the weekend, but I did receive another message from the girl. She told me that I ruined her life and never to contact her again or else. I haven't responded to either message but screenshotted the conversation for proof in case I'd need it. We had our class together on Monday and she wasn't there. However, I could see the two girls she usually sits and hangs out with giving me the stink eye. I figured she must have told them. After class, I went to see my professor and asked him about the email, because, frankly, I was still worried. He said that he read both stories over the weekend and I have nothing to worry about. He also advised me to never have any other communication with my classmate. I half-jokingly and half-seriously told him I wasn't planning to, especially after she basically threatened me. He asked me what I was talking about. So I showed him the messages. He asked that I send this to him and the ethics committee's email. I did so when I went home. I heard some chatter throughout the day, and our entire class received an email about cheating and plagiarism. As it turns out, she plagiarized her story. Her sister had written the story when she was in university a few years back, and she had stolen it and submitted it as her own, thinking no one would notice as it had been a certain number of years. Well, after the incident, our lecturer used the anti-plagiarism software on our stories and found out about her cheating. Her situation is now being addressed by the ethics committee. She could be expelled. I don't know why she flipped this on me. Maybe it was projection or she wanted someone else to take the blame. Anyway, I'm off the hook and will promptly forget about her. Goofily, it sounds like the plagiarism detection software was only used after she made a big stink about one of them potentially being plagiarized. So, in a sense, her projection was her own doing. I can only really assume that this person wasn't too familiar with the sci-fi genre, and just assume that it was unique enough that anyone who was also writing in the far future would be obviously someone who's plagiarizing. I don't know, I just think that if I was in the position where I was reusing one of my siblings' previous works, I would never want the topic of plagiarism to ever come up to avoid potentially being found out. It just seems really goofy that they would instantly bring the thought of plagiarism existing into the professor's mind and then be shocked that suddenly, oh, they're being investigated for plagiarism. Like, you did it, you brought attention to the possibility, and you got caught. I don't know what to tell you. Posted directly to OhNoConsequences by YourMe17. Am I the asshole for pointing out that none of my in-laws went to university? About a month ago, I, 24 female, took my final exam at university, making a huge milestone in my life. I'm the first woman in my family to achieve this, and it wasn't an easy journey. I faced significant hardships along the way, including homelessness, domestic violence, and the loss of family members. Despite everything, I graduated with honors and earned the highest grades in my class, which made me really proud. Last night, my partner's 27 male parents hosted a big family gathering. While we were all at the dinner table, his cousin, who I get along well with, asked how it felt to be done and congratulated me on my achievement. I told him I felt proud and relieved that it was finally over. That's when my brother-in-law chimed in with a dismissive comment, saying something along the lines of, "It's not that big of an achievement, people do it all the time." His mom and a few others agreed, adding their own comments about how it's not hard to finish a degree. This brother-in-law has a history of putting me down, calling me dumb and other names, which my partner has addressed with him before. Ironically, he had once attended university himself, but was kicked out for failing all his classes in the first year. Usually, I ignore his remarks, but this one caught me off guard, and I responded without my usual filter. "Then how come you got kicked out?" His mom immediately told me my comment was inappropriate and rude. She went on to say that just because he didn't finish his degree doesn't mean he's wrong. I replied, well, if it's so easy, why hasn't a single one of you earned a degree? Some family members, including my partner and the cousin, backed me up, but his mom was furious and asked me to leave. This morning, I woke up to messages from family members. Some agreed with me, saying I had a point, but could have been nicer. Others, including his mom, felt my comments were uncalled for and said I had no right to humiliate my brother-in-law. So am I the asshole? Edit, by the way, I don't think anyone has to go to university to be successful. In fact, I believe that many people can and will accomplish incredible things without it. Edit 2. Wow, I didn't expect this to get so much attention. Thank you all for your support and the funny comments. Some of you calling me out might be right. I probably didn't need to involve the whole family. I felt a bit cornered and ended up lashing out at everyone. And that's on me. I think I'll take a step back from family events for a while and focus on the relationships with those who did support me. I'm glad your partner backed you up, as well as his cousin, but this is just a classic example of people who enjoy dishing it out, but the moment it's put back onto them, suddenly it's, whoa, why are you attacking me? You worked 4 years for this accomplishment, and you did it. You made it out, with honors. That's not something everyone can actually just do. Takes a lot of time and dedication, and it's fairly impressive. Honestly, it sounds like it just comes from a place of jealousy, because, when you think about it, the amount of times that we just casually celebrate someone's graduation when everyone does it, yeah, that logic begins to quickly fall apart there. It's just entirely out of jealousy in the fact that he flunked out in his first semester, and OP managed to actually pass with honors. Honestly, their behavior just reeks of jealousy and the fact that they weren't able to do it themselves, and they just gotta bring people down who are actually doing what they couldn't. And when you called them out on their stupid comments, they got extremely defensive because they know you're right. You don't gotta apologize for that. Again, don't dish it out if you can't take it back. Why is it OP's responsibility to be the bigger person and just simply ignore the comments they're making? It just, yeah. Something, glass houses, rocks. We've got a cross post from Best Of. This one was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP's Throwaway 1811, posted to r/TrueOffMyChest, April 22nd, 2025. My wife wants a divorce. It's been 3 weeks since my wife told me she wants a divorce. I'm still reeling from it. I know I'm going to come across badly here. I stepped outside of my marriage, and it's no one else's fault but mine. I have no excuse for cheating on my wife. I work in the Crown Attorney's office. It's a busy and stressful job, and I crossed the line with another attorney. The long hours and stressful environment is something we both deal with, and I let my judgment lapse. She's married with children, too, and neither of us have any excuse. I make no excuses for what I did. I watched my brother go through a divorce a few years ago, but I never thought I'd be here. I regret hurting my wife, and I don't blame her for leaving. 3 weeks ago, she told me she knew about the affair. The next day, she moved out. She had started doing Instacart and Uber Eats when I was at work. She saved up money. She's been taking free online classes through the Adult Education Center. She wants to start night school to get a degree. She went out and got a job. After she got the job, she found an apartment. We have an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old. After she got the job, she found a daycare for them. Truth be told, I was blindsided when she told me she was leaving. I don't know how she found out about the affair, but apparently she's known for almost a year. I had no idea she knew, or that she was getting things in order to leave me. She didn't act any different. She was still the same warm and bright person. She didn't change her behavior. She didn't act distant or cold. She was the same loving wife that she always was. I know I made a huge mistake with the affair. My wife didn't tell anyone else about my affair either. She only told people after she moved out. After my wife got a job, she told her sister she was leaving me, but not why. Her sister co-signed for my wife's apartment. But even then, she didn't tell her sister any details until after she moved out. My wife said she kept everything to herself because she didn't want anyone to confront or talk to me about it until she had everything in order to leave. Even her sister only found out less than a month before my wife moved out, and even then, it was only that my wife was leaving me and not why. I saw her sister a couple of times before my wife left, but just like my wife, she didn't give anything away. I'm still in shock that my wife didn't act any different or give away what she was doing. I never knew my wife could get a job or was taking online classes or planning to leave. My wife told my colleague's husband about the affair. I never really thought about what would happen if we were caught. I guess I thought my wife and I would try marriage counseling. I needed to get this out. I've already had enough of my life made public. I know I only have myself to blame. My wife will only talk to me about our kids. We have agreed to share time with them for now. Shared 50-50 custody is the norm where we live, and my wife says she won't contest that in the divorce. But she'll only talk to me about the kids, not about anything else. The house feels empty without her. It's strange and wrong. I know I was wrong and I made the worst mistake of my life. I watched my brother go through a divorce and I never thought I would too. It still feels strange to me. My wife had been living somewhere else for 3 weeks. My wife has had a job for 3 weeks. I'm going to be divorced. Everyone is angry at me for the affair and I don't even blame them. You don't have to tell me I'm wrong because I already know. This is the biggest regret of my life. Top comments. Commenter 1. I absolutely love the way that she handled the situation. You lost a gem. Commenter 2. She figured if her husband could lie to her face and act like everything was fine while she was at home taking care of their kids and he was balls deep in a coworker, then she could lie to her husband's face while she got herself into a position to leave behind all the lies. She chose herself instead of you for once while you were choosing yourself over her. Good for her. It's gonna hurt you more when she finds a new husband who is actually worthy of her time and love. Commenter 3. Wow, I admire her strength. The fact that she held it in for a whole year and got her own life sorted really shows her strong character. Commenter 4. Dude, I'm gonna pile on. You humiliated her, which is probably why she has said nothing to no one. It's not that she respects you, she doesn't. You broke her trust. You broke her heart. You broke her faith in all men. It's going to be another man who heals her now, and her not telling anyone is because she likely feels like a complete failure as a woman, and you made her feel that way. She knew for more than a year. She gave you lots of chances, at least 365 chances. You failed her every single day, every single chance. Do the decent thing. Don't fight her in the divorce. Give her everything she asks for. At least give her back that dignity. It honestly speaks volumes with the comment of, I didn't know my wife could get a job. Good God, man. Update, May 1st, 2025, 9 days later. When I wrote my last post, I thought I was at rock bottom, but I wasn't even close. I thought the day my wife left me was the worst day of my life. Not even close. 2 days ago, I was formally served with divorce papers. That was the worst day of my life. That's the update. My wife is making it official now. I know my marriage ending is my fault. I don't know why I even cheated on my wife, who was the best woman I've ever met. I was selfish, and I don't care if anyone calls me names or anything because I already regret ruining my marriage more than anything. You aren't telling me what I already don't know and haven't called myself. Getting those papers was rock bottom. When I look at them, it is the worst regret I have ever felt. I didn't know my wife had a lawyer yet. I'm an attorney, but not in family law. I work in the Crown Attorney's office, and I thought I had more time because attorneys from law firms are expensive. Everyone is adamant that none of them are giving my wife money or any help. My wife said she wanted to be self-sufficient when she left, which was why she got a job first. She said she found a lawyer through a charity for people who are new to the workforce after I didn't expect to be served papers so soon, but she doesn't want to talk about this further, only about her kids. Every time I look at them now, it's like a hit to my gut. Even though it's been a month, I'm still not used to any of this. My wife is not living here. My wife has a job now. I don't get to see my kids every day. I know everything is my fault and I'm the biggest idiot for ruining my marriage. I have the papers to prove it now. It's official now. I'm going to be divorced. Top comments. Commenter 1. Everyone is adamant that none of them are giving my wife money or any help. Does this mean that you're angry that someone is helping her because now she won't have to come back to you because she can't support herself? Because you've clearly tried to figure out who it is. I'm guessing so you can convince them to stop. That's really awful of you. Good for whoever's helping her. Commenter 2. Hey, congratulations on getting what you wanted. I have no idea why you're sad or so disappointed. That is what you wanted, right? For 365 plus days, you chose a woman who wasn't your wife, so I can only surmise that you didn't want to be married to your wife anymore. Don't worry, your affair partner will probably need a place to live soon, and you can just move her in with you. And you won't have to sneak around anymore. You're getting exactly what you wanted. Oh wait, you actually thought your wife would be okay with you having a side chick? You thought she would let you screw your affair partner and be excited that you were still coming home to her? No. She has more self-respect than that. By the way, congratulations! I believe this is what they call, the consequences of my own actions. Commenter 3. Not your business if someone is helping her. He certainly didn't help your marriage by stepping outside of it. Who she spends time with or receives help from is no longer your business. I had to reread this a second time just because there's a lot of surface level information where it's just, he's trying to keep it as shallow as a puddle and as wide as a lake, where, you can't really pinpoint what's actually going on here. When in all actuality, it certainly sounds like that lapse of judgment that he had was a year's worth of cheating on his wife. And what I mean by it being as wide as a lake and shallow as a puddle, at least with how he's trying to describe it, is at times I was going back and forth of, was this a one-time, one-off night, or has this been going on for a year? It doesn't change the fact that he did in fact cheat on his wife, but it definitely recontextualizes a ton of the info that he's giving. Now, tinfoil hat theory time. And the reason why I am being over-explanatory here is because I have received threatening emails from people who think that I'm on the side of cheaters. A lot of the language here is phrased as though this was a one-time affair event, which it would be easier, not that it is easy, just that it is easier to be more understanding or forgiving to someone who had a singular one-night affair compared to someone who's been maintaining it for a year. I am not saying that it is easy to forgive someone. I am only saying that in the comparison between having an affair for a year and having a one-night lapse of judgment, you can't quite see the air quotes here, do cause different amounts of pain. And because of that, you are more likely to get sympathy for the one-time lapse of judgment compared to a year-long affair. Please keep in mind I am only explaining OP's vague language here and potentially what he was trying within this tinfoil hat theory of mine. Because a lot of his language doesn't actually establish whether or not it was a one-time affair or whether or not it was happening over an entire year. You're kind of left to fill in those gaps. I think it definitely started as a one-time lapse of judgment, but this continued over the course of a year, which also explains how the wife would have found out, because if it's a one-time lapse of judgment, that's a lot harder to uncover than an active affair that's been going on for over a year, and considering that she's known about it for a year, that does imply that, potentially, this has been going on for some time. Additionally, he brings up his brother's divorce twice, which tells me that there's the potential that he knew what he was doing was wrong, he knew that it could lead to divorce, but he always saw his marriage to be immune to divorce. Why do I think that? Because of the simple comment of, I didn't know that she could get a job. He thought that his wife was solely dependent on him, so therefore, even if he cheated, and because of how much money he's making and because she's probably a stay-at-home mom, that she would be trapped in the divorce even despite his actions. Hence why he mentions that if she ever found out, he just assumed that they would do marriage counseling. Because he believed that she was trapped, and chances are, she probably realized that. She realized in that moment while he was having the affair of, I have nowhere to go, I'm going to build myself up and leave him. So she spends that year getting herself in that position where she's not trapped. That is just my tinfoil hat theory, but that's how I'm reading the situation based upon some of the language that he chose to use. And also all the facts that were conveniently left out for the listener/reader to fill in themselves. Don't forget, today we're launching the 3 opossums in a trench coat plush. Coming live and yeah. But you should definitely buy this plush. It is totally not 3 opossums in a trench coat. Totally not. You should definitely allow this completely non-conspicuous, oddly shaped, distinguished gentleman into your home, who will certainly not lay claim to your pantry. This is in fact 3 opossums in a trench coat who will in fact lay complete desolation to your fridge, pantry, and potentially garbage. On sale now!